It's just never ends, does it? Right, let's see if this turns up. There we go. I've been having a tidy up, and I've moved the intro video, haven't I? Hello everyone. For those who don't know, I've got COVID. So yeah, at least I started on time. Yeah, so I got COVID, so I've got my sexy voice on for Paulie. But I thought I'd start this an hour before the end. Well, let's have a look where we are at the moment, because we'll be doing this quite a lot. I know, not exactly, no mask required. It's a little bit higher than I ever expected. Yeah, cotton wool head. Yeah, absolutely, God. So I'm not going to do any thanking yet. I'm going to do that afterwards. At 8 o'clock I'm going to do that. And I'm probably going to wind this up not long after 8 o'clock. Unless there's lots of questions. I'm going to answer questions all day. Well, no, I'm not. But I'll answer any questions that pop up. I will have a quick look, actually. Let me... because I can see this one. Let me just scroll up, because a lot of people are just saying hello. Okay, let me say one thing to be clear. All right. You're good for the 17-inch. Okay? And the reason for that is the reality. It's actually going to be a pain, because that means I've got to do another one. But, because 200 people took up the £100, and if you had added on the extra they would have paid, or they're going to pay, then it covers above the stretch goal. So the 17-inch. So I never thought I would have actually reached it all, but we seem to have reached all of it. I'm just have a quick look for any questions. David seems to be asking a lot about lots of monitors. And if you don't see the monitors, I know a lot of you aren't reading the actual text in the Kickstarter. I can tell that, because people are asking questions and the answers are in the text. But there is a chart down there telling you what I've tested. Now, for example, the X1000, I don't have one. And I don't know if I'll be able to get one. But it's just a case of later on getting one, getting it to Appy on loan. And then we can test it and see what we've got to do. So going forward, we want to support as much as we can. So it's, that's just the way this thing's going to work. I bought an OSSC aspect ratio. Okay, it's not really a question. Must have meant to press live tonight. Yeah, you've got a reminder in this for me. This piece of gold involved. Yeah, okay. Yeah, as I said, don't worry about the stretch goal for the 17. You're getting the 17 option. It's too late to put it in the Kickstarter, obviously, but when it comes to April, if people want... Now, it was only 20% of people wanted 17. Most wanted 19. So that's obviously quite... But now, the 17's not going to be possible with the Arcudo. It's just not going to happen. I can't think it will happen. Okay, so bear that in mind. But for the IPS panels, yes. Same price as the 19-inch, though. 19-inch bezel would be great. A number of people have asked me about, can we do that tape mode? You know, it rotates. Oh, that's why it's called tape. No, we're not. Because you just can't. It would just make it too complex a design, and people have already it's already quite expensive, so that would be an absolute nightmare. Is it more the way I remember them rather than actually the way they were? Are you going to produce a matrix of pods that shows which can be fit together? I don't know. I mean, look, we're trying to get them all in single. You've got 3 pods. One's taken up by the standard. So really, I would have thought you want to have a general purpose pod that suits you. Well, do remember with the pods, you can take them out and snap them back in again. So if you're going somewhere you want a mister in it, you slap your mister or your Pi into it. If you go somewhere you need all the inputs, you just take it out and put the S-video and maybe the RF modulator, put that pod in. It's a no, just, and you could even carry the pods in the bag. So I don't see it's a big problem. My Benk 17-inch 4.3, what you mean, like that one there? It's not too bad, but it's, would much rather was 19-inch CRT like with internal mister. Yeah, absolutely. Right. I know, Steve, have we reached the stretch goal for Appy was ear stickers? No. No, if I'm not putting my name in it, I'm not putting Appy's in it. But maybe we could do some Appy was ear stickers. The Mr. Kennard, these are just questions between the lot of you, aren't they? How's the power coming into the monitor? Will it have additional power considerations inside to run? Okay, look, the power. That information is going to come later. Okay, it's a 12-volt power pack. It's external. It plugs into the back, and it's all distributed internally as you need it. Right now, that's all you need to know, because there is still decisions to be made. And no answer in it, Appy, please, because because I don't want to get into specifics. We're not having a kettle leak because there's no power supply in it. It's an external power supply. I've been very clear about that. In 72 hours, I hereby nominate Peter for head of PR. Yeah, Peter's. Well, I mean, as I said, I always knew that Peter was going to be important. I didn't think he was going to be vital, but I knew he was going to be important. So, which is why I spent for quite some time, putting things in place so I can meet him and, but yeah, but I just didn't expect it to be that much. I thought maybe he'd like make up a quarter or something, but I mean, it's doubled the value. It's more than doubled the value because we're a lot more than double because we was on 128 and then the Peter's video dropped and it's now 345. It's just crazy, isn't it? This man's owed more than a pint, I tell you. He did get lunch though, to be fair. Just in case, I know it was quite funny, but we did have lunch. Let's see, I'm trying to move this around here. Can you talk a little bit? Oh, okay, here we go. Kickstarter replace. Hang on. It's kind of jumping a little bit here. For God's sake. We started 10 minutes early. No, I just easily made it 400. Hope you don't mind me answering some of the questions. Starius, you go ahead, mate. You're doing a fantastic job. Yeah, hi, Sean. CRTs are overrated. They were more pain than good. Only memories connected to them are important. Yeah, I don't mind them. No, I liked them back in the day when I had an RGB CRT. It was brilliant. But nowadays, probably get hung for that. When the time comes to pick and choose our add-ons, can we add on another entire monitor if we wanted? Yeah, I don't see reason why not. Because basically when we do in April, May, when we do all this, that's when I actually order production numbers and I'll over order, but that's when I'll be doing the production. the runs. So there's no problem. There shouldn't be a problem ordering more. No, I mean I'm not going to say no, am I? I won't be letting anyone else though. Let's be clear. If you've got an order and you want to order another one, yeah, that's fine, but no new orders, because it won't be in my product list. No one will be able to order. 9-inch mini version with an iPad 3/4 screen. No, the answer is no to that. I like owning at least one CRT. Ports on demand. Oh yeah, that's quite good. There's a chance you'll do an OLED version sometime in the future. You know, if there is such a thing as a 4:3 aspect ratio OLED, point me to it. There isn't. I've always said that if I can get an OLED and you've got two kidneys, because it's going to cost you one of them, then maybe we could. Any idea of the cost of the carry bags? Have a read of the Kickstarter. It's at the bottom. But it is 90. Remember their estimates, those prices. The price has actually gone up a little bit, but if it was actually, because 90 should be alright. I mean, if it goes up, it'll be a fiver. But they're, you know, I don't make a lot out of bags, to be honest. I'm really doing it so you've got it, because I really like the bags and I like the idea of the bag. What were the stretch goals? Go and have a look. Next Kickstarter, replacement desktop and keyboard case for Atari STE. No, unlikely. No, well, in fact, it's not unlikely. I did the cases because I love Amigas and I like the Amiga 3000. There's plenty of people can design other cases. I mean, you know. Can you talk about image scaling with regards to digital and analog inputs in relation to the standard IPS and Arcuda? Well, scaling on the AV input. The firmware on that is still to be discussed. There's the normal smooth scaling, but I've also got a double scale, so it's like literally double, so it's not you know, smooth. So we get that double pixel sizes, and we're doing some work with that. As far as standard IPS and Arcuda, I can't discuss Arcuda. You need to go on the Arcuda site or talk to Arcuda, because they've said they'll do a panel for us, and it's really about the controller. And in fact, they emailed me today because they could see it was doing well. But we got to talk about that, what we're going to do, and the price, etc., etc. They may also help me with getting things to Australia, which might be handy. But we'll see how that's going to work. Does it support a light gun? Right, so bear in mind this is not a CRT, but there are. I know there's a light gun that works with panels, so it should work with this. I haven't tried it obviously, but I know there are panels out there that will do it. How do the pods connect internally to the monitor? I'm not gonna say that now. You can see we're experimenting, right? If you've actually read through it, you can see we're experimenting, and it's trying to think what's the best thing as a product. But you'll find out more about that later. I'm going to be cagey because I don't want to say one thing and deliver something else. Which input for the C1940 screen modes for the 1200? I have no idea what you mean by the C1940. And how much for cable to RGB output port? Cables, look on eBay, I don't know, £13. An RGB SCART for Amiga 1200 is about £13, £14. The thing to do is you want to run them in the PAL resolution modes, because, I mean, you can run NTSC if you want, but you want to run them in the PAL mode as interlace, because then it'd be nice and stable. And in fact, if you put it in super high res PAL, no, is it super high res? It's the wide one, the 1280 version, right? Put it in there, and it's stable, and it looks great. I mean, the pixels are a rectangle, vertical rectangle, but they look good. Yes, Jeremy, the PSU is global. Light gun technology requires a CRT. No. I do remember seeing there was a Kickstarter for a light gun. Look at RMC's website. Yeah, there was a light gun made for for panels. So there's only one, and he used it. So go and have a look. I'm not saying it definitely works. I'm just saying there is one that was designed for modern TVs and panels. So in theory, it should work. Okay, so for future screen replacement situation. So it's a 19-inch panel. It has to be LVDS. The control, preferably 1280 by 1024, because this is a driver issue. The driver for the controller is written for 1280 1024, but you know, you should in theory support other panels with that. It doesn't mean it will. Okay, so if you get the same panel, obviously you're fine. But if you decide to change the panel, I can't guarantee the controller will work with your panel. That's really important to understand that, because they adapt the firmware to support different panels. So it's important that that we get that. Now, if you said to us, I wanna buy these and sell them with my own panels, and I'm going to sell a couple hundred, well, just to give us the specifications of the panel, and we'll get it added to the firmware. If it's one, have you considered creating a module for arcade boards? See, I don't see the point. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but it seems to me the only reason you're going to do that is you want a module that you just drop into a cabinet and you bolt it in, the thing goes over the front. This is a monitor. This is not meant to be dropped into an arcade. Now, having said that, it's just dawned on me, you can get those Pandoras. So, I don't know, maybe that might be something that's not a bad idea. Now you come think of it, if you've got a Pandora box. But look, it's modular. What should dead pixel? I've already answered this once. Dead pixel policy, right? Okay. So basically, I'm going to test them all before they go. So the theory is they won't ship with dead pixels, but there'll be a warranty. There'll be a warranty. So I'm pretty confident about these panels. And if you get problems with the panels, then we'll swap the panels out. I mean, that just goes without saying. Are you going to develop, distribute more pods than the ones that appear on the Kickstarter? Yes. But we can only do so much at the moment. All right. But the idea is hopefully other people will. Are you going to do the import paperwork for EU customs, even if the final management is for the parcel? We're still making a decision on that at the moment. My distributor has basically volunteered. We're going to see what's the best thing to do, because I know it is important. So but we've got months to sort that out. So I'll come back to you. I will come back to you. You'll know further on. Oh, I wish it'd stopped doing LCD light gun support on Mister. The GunCon 3 has been getting a lot of support. Not across, of course, but keeping it. Okay. So I didn't think that was specifically for the Mister. I thought that was one that was generic for games, consoles. Sinden light gun. Well done, Fassy. Yeah, the Sinden one had a light bar, that was it. And you could put it on a panel, so I'm sure you could use that. Might be a dumb question, but for the festive placeholder deposit, does that go to paying part of the 259 the standard? It's when you get your bill for your monitor, you'll have paid £100. And you'll just have to pay the balance. You'll just have more balance to pay than people who paid the 249, 259, 269. Will any single input support both 15 kilohertz? No. So the HDMI won't. The built-in standard VGA will not take 15 kilohertz. The AV inputs, the component and the composite will take 15 kilohertz. But when you put the VGA control board in, that'll take 15 kilohertz across the board. Any chance 24 and is... Look, as far as the outside of 15 kilohertz and 31 kilohertz, I know we have got some movement in what we're doing because I know Appy's been experimenting. Again, no need to mention it, Appy. But we are working on expanding on that, right? But we haven't got time now. Now we're into production. We need to make these things. So we need to get the standard version done, out the door, and then we can concentrate on doing changes or upgrades, that kind of thing. I think it's just going to be a firmware upgrade. Yeah, let's just get the basics done first, and then we'll start, because we don't have every single machine out there. Okay, you've seen the chart, you've seen what it supports at the moment. My plan is just to support lots. I want to support SGI. It's an excuse to get an SGI, seriously, that kind of thing. So plan is to do lots of that. Dave repairs. You're going to count dead pixels? I hadn't planned on it. No. If I get a panel and it's got a dead pixel, it gets rejected. I want consoleized, modularized arcade boards playable on a desktop. Yeah, Pandora. But I don't know about arcade boards. Look, it's a monitor. You've only got that much space. You've got this much space. No, actually, I'll show you how much space you've got. It's about 190 wide. 190 wide. You'd have to get it into there. Yeah? So that's about 190 by 100. Otherwise, forget it. And in fact, that might not even work, because if you've got to put a jammer connector on the back, it's probably not going to work. So, but it's something to look at. It's been a really long time since I've seen dead pixels. Yeah, exactly. Which courier will be using for UK deliveries? The one I've been using for 3 years. At the moment is Parcel Force. But I have my own courier agent, and it goes through them, and then it goes out accordingly. Everywhere outside the UK now tends to be DHL. This might be a dumb question, but in future would people be able to buy an order from a website just like Amazon or look, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to get that big. That's a tricky one. Because to gear up for that, see that people have been asking, am I going to do more monitors after this? And I don't even know yet. I don't know, because these are expensive things to produce. It's and to ship. You can't just knock out 100. You've got to probably knock out 1,000. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Appy's research is top secret. Need to know. Absolutely. I mean, I've been looking into Amazon, and it's not bad. I mean, I'm definitely thinking about Amazon. But I don't know if it's a general consumer kind of product. But I don't know. We'll see. If Parcel Force exists when they go out, yeah. A glossy display. No, because these panels, the panels I get, they're industrial. And they're industrial panels, so you're getting an industrial quality panel. They tend to be matte. That's just the way they are. I'm not saying we can't do it as an option, but I don't like gloss anyway. Is this going to have a fancy box like the cases? Unlikely, no. I would rather put the money into the electronics. What 19-inch LCD screens are compatible with chassis? I'm not giving you a list of. I'm not giving you a list of that. It doesn't work like that because there's so many bloody panels out there. Just buy one from me. I don't mind telling people, because the important thing is 19-inch, not 19.1, not 18.9, 19-inch. But it's more important than that. The area of the display is where the bezel goes over. So if it's not the same size, it's going to look stupid. Hence, extension and the board in a separate enclosure. Oh, that's a terrible idea. Stick a mister in it. Be done with it. Personal experience of Stephen's shipping is top notch. He will tell you that only goes out every 2 weeks and can be slower. Starius, okay, let me be clear on this one. It depends where you are in the queue, because some people get skewed. I do ship out every couple of weeks, all right, because I kind of build up an order and then we ship them out. So if you order close to that end, then it's really quick. If you've ordered at the beginning, you've been waiting 2 weeks. But I always say 2 weeks. I am under the UK Secrets Act due to... are still worth millions. You should sort that. Could you make a pod for the A500 mini internals? Maybe. I actually like the little box, to be honest, but you're better off sticking a pie in, it'll be quicker. Please put the money into electronics. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can tell from Mega 65 that cardboard boxes can drive you mad. Look, and I people know my boxes, and because it was a case and it was a whole experience, almost like buying a computer. I wanted it to have that case. I wanted that experience when you opened it and so on. The problem is these monitors are not cheap, and the cardboard boxes are like £15 each. Even when you're buying 1,000, all right, I spent 15, 16 grand. In fact, it was getting over 20 grand on the boxes. It's crazy money. So I am not doing that, and not for the monitors. They're going to be strong boxes, and they'll probably be black and white printed or black printed on them. But I'm not going mad on these because I'd rather save the money, put it to better electronics. Will RF module cope with ZX81's no back ports? I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a ZX81. I got a Spectrum, but that's had composite mod. But it's just an RF converter. It's nothing special. It's just one I got in. Are the pod trays going to be metal or plastic? Well, our ones will be metal. Okay. But I'll be giving out the 3D design so you can print your own. GPS controller support for running a menu on those tiny OLED display modules. That would be cool. Here goes the monitor again, look. I was going to look into that, funnily enough, because it would be quite nice to have that, so I haven't mentioned it because it's one of those people expect, but there is a potential for that. Do you hope that D10 nanos would be easy to get when you ship? No, they won't be. But if you remember when I did the minis, they were I was getting them for £95 and selling them for like 110 or 120. I think I was selling something like that, but all the other bits added on, obviously. And I sold up at nearly 100, but now they're 200 plus VAT, and so they're quite expensive, and they're quite hard to get. So, turning from current FPGA, it's not getting better. We see next year. Hopefully, need more artics. Say something. Okay, well that's enough of the questions. I've gone for the questions, I guess. This hasn't moved, does it? Should we do a refresh? There you go. Another 10,000 officially. I can't believe just literally how much this is made. I never expected actually to reach the 17-inch one, to be honest. I never did, but it's good news. Any chance? Oh, okay. Let me read those questions. I still have a box for a Tandy monitor in my attic. The monitor's been gone since the 90s, but I can't see the part of the old box. Any chance Composite works with Brazilian 60 Hz PAL M? It uses different color burst frequency from normal PAL. Useful for masters. I don't know. I haven't got one. I think it probably will, because these are generic controllers basically, and they ship around the world. So I would have thought yes. I can't see any reason why not. Hopefully the pies will be easy to get. Yeah, I mean, look, someone was saying about putting a 500 mini in it. Personally, I wouldn't want to strip it to pieces. You better off putting I think you're better off putting a pie in and having a retro, setup in there. I think the pie would. I haven't got around to building a pie because I didn't have a spare. I had to send mine off to Finmagula. I forgot his real name. And I sent mine off to him, so I didn't have a spare. And my this one, I bought this one. Hopefully you can see that it's a CM4. It never worked. I can't get it to work, which is really annoying. It might be something I'm doing, but yeah. So that I've never had that in there working. See that figure's happy. Oh, Peter's here. Hello, Peter. How are you doing? Thanks again. I thought the Brazilian was yes, happy. It would also be neat if you could find a way to force amber green grayscale monochrome. Yes, we are looking into this because I like the idea of it. As you look here. Hang on. So that's got my EGA display, but it'd be nice if I can do like a green or amber. I've been talking to Happy about it, and he's got a way of doing it. So I think we'll possibly be able to do that. Yeah. Anything. David Pez, I think I'm missing something here. I don't think it's aimed at me anyway. The video port on the back of my Atari Falcon is a VGA 15 kHz switch on it, so I'm guessing 15 pins at the back. Okay, so you may or may not be up to speed on the Atari. The VGA's always worked. The VGA output, composites worked, even the RF works. But I had a problem. I had 3 in tests. I had 3 Atari STs working fine on our SCART board, but mine didn't work. But we fixed that. Well, Happy fixed that a week ago. So that's all working now. In fact, I would be able to show it, except the cables that were sent special delivery on Monday still haven't arrived. They're still stuck in Southampton, which is really kind of annoying. Any chance for picture mode to display 2 inputs at the same time? No. No. Definitely not in this version. No. That you're talking custom controllers, ARM processors, all Christ knows what else. Are future firmware updates for the controller board something that might happen? That's a good question. So basically, I'm going to do, now that obviously this is all going through now, I'm going to have another round of firmware changes. And once they're all done and they're signed off, we'll put them into the board. Now, that's not to say there won't be more changes, but if there are more changes, I can just make it a file and you download onto a USB stick, you plug it in the back, and it just updates itself. Now that's, if we find bugs in it, we can do that later on, but that only affects the main controller. Okay, so David, The standard default VGA is a 31 kilohertz. No, it doesn't. I keep saying this. It doesn't accept 15 kilohertz. The component does, the composites do. If you put the VGA control pod in, that accepts 15 kilohertz, and that's RGB SCART and component and CGA and EGA. So the VGA input does not accept 15 kilohertz. That's why you need that module. How fast is input source switching? Is it ever automatic for instance loss of sync? No, it's not automatic. It is manual. And I've got to talk to them about speeding it up actually, because it's a little bit on the slow side. It's like a couple of seconds. So it's not perfect, but it does. I think they kind of do it to make sure it's all stable, and then they switch. I think it could be. It's definitely going to be sped up a bit. There's things like the little bar at the bottom. It stays too long. I might just get rid of the bloody thing so it only appears if you press the, the information button. Are you going to make a front HDMI for the utility panel? I hadn't planned on it. You can make one. Right, API. So be clear, the standard VGA does not take 15 kilohertz at all, right? It does not take it. And there isn't a 15 kilohertz on the GBS. There isn't a VGA on the GBS. Will it come with the remote that you were showing? Yes. Yes, it'll come with the remote. Will the remote match the monitor color? No, probably not. No, because you're just talking about having to make a load more and more expense. I'd have to push. No, they'll all be probably black. I'm not even sure if it's actually this one. Okay, so it'll come with a remote, but they'll all probably be the same color. Yeah, the trouble is that I'm not sure what that port does on the board. Let's talk about offline now. If we get that, I don't want because the GBS board is SCART CGA EGA component. Right. Okay. So all right. Okay. So things change. If you buy the Arcuda, the board itself is designed for 15 kilohertz. So if you get the Arcuda upgrade, yes, it's designed. The whole thing is designed for 15 kilohertz. I'm talking about the standard board. Is the 5 HDMI modular pod? No, it just mounts to the main controller board. Right, let's clear this up. If you get the Arcuda option, you've got 2 kidneys, yeah, and you're prepared to pay the cost of the Arcuda setup, it's a panel and a completely different controller. Completely different. So you're not going to get all mine. You're not going to get all my inputs, okay? It's a completely different controller. Different setup. And that has 15 kilohertz native support, 1 millisecond, all that kind of stuff. So it's a different thing entirely. But that's coming later. That's for people who really want or think they need that 1 millisecond response time. Right. Atari ST Snack, how much will the display panel cost? Now, if you talk about the Arcuda, you'll have to wait because that price has not been set yet. If you're talking about the standard ones, it's on the Kickstarter. But basically, it's on the Kickstarter. Go to the bottom of the Kickstarter page, it tells you the prices. trying to think what else I can really talk about, because there's not really much. I mean, to be honest, I've been doing some little bits and pieces, but this whole bloody COVID thing is. I've been laying. I'm sleeping in the spare room, so I'm keeping away from the wife and Alfie. Mark, what are you saying? So, are we losing the 17-inch, or is the Justry still out? Look, even if we don't reach look, we're probably going to reach it actually. But even if we don't, I'm still going to make the 17-inch, because I've got 200 people who paid £100 deposit, and if I take their amount of money, it shoves it up. So I'm still going to make the 17, regardless of what happens now. I'm still going to make the 17-inch version. Okay. It'll cost the same as a 19-inch, and if anyone says it shouldn't it be cheaper, you're an idiot. In fact, it should be more expensive. It's a pain making that 17-inch. Oh, that's a good point. Bloody all! I tell you what, that A500 Mini, it's all 16:9. They don't do a proper 4:3 aspect ratio. I can't. It won't work because it's outputting 16:9, and it won't output according to the monitor. It really does suck for that. Because I plugged it in and watched it squishing it. It's horrible. So I think I did mention it to them, but no one seems to obviously care. No, Drew's out. Look, 17's coming. 17's definitely coming. What's the best setup for an NTSC Amiga 1200 with a Vampire card that has HDMI out? You just need the... Well, okay. Right. If you've got... It depends what you want to do. If you've got a Vampire, right, get your Vampire, plug it in HDMI, composite into the monitor. Perfect. Yeah? Because composite looks really good. You could also do component if you want to, plug component in. That means you don't need the GBS board. You can just do that with the standard board, right? The composite looks great. I mean, I'm assuming you want the Amiga stuff to play games and demos. They look fantastic in composite. The built-in component doesn't do non-interlace, only does interlace. But if you want interlace for the RGB, you can get a component output. Other than that, get the GBS board, plug that in, and then use a SCART. Smaller display equals smaller pixels equals more dropouts in production. I have no idea what you mean on that. I must admit the fact that the 17th version will become reality is icing on the cake. It's amazing how these things have turned out here, yeah. Will the displays have scan lines, or is that something you can do in software? Right. So the scan lines, if you've got GBS control, on the standard thing you're not going to get scan lines, but on the GBS control, it has, you can set it with scan lines. So yeah, there's a web server. You log into the web server. You want to connect it to your home network, and then just log into it on a PC or whatever. Log into it, and you can just tweak the settings and change the scan lines. Will we get? I don't know what what's a BODE speaker? Bose? No. That'd be silly. You're crazy. Anyway, these speakers sound great. There's a lot of nice built-in CRT visual modes. For other use, you may want to spoil something about. Another thing I'd love to see is an HDMI output pod. Okay, so the output. It is something that I have. Well, me and Happy haven't really talked. We've kind of skirted around it, but outputs. Well, look, the easiest thing is get yourself a bloody Mister, right, and use that, because you can go VGA output, or well, you need the HDMI really to go in. You can use VGA output. Now, will we do it? I don't know. I'm not sure whether we'll do an HDMI out, But if we can do something, because I know people want to stream, because the original idea was because we had 2 composite ins and a composite out. You could do it with composite. So all you like old retro games, just do it with composite, and you can squirt that out to while you're playing. But the other modes, now maybe something with the switcher we could make a, but I don't know how well that's going to work. So it's something we've got to look into, but it's not a priority at the moment. But we'll see what we do with that. If you feed a 240 signal, does it turn it into 480i? No, it's 240p. It just displays it. If it's going into VGA control, look, you need to watch that video that Retro RGB did on the GBS control. Tells you all about it. Yeah, I'm not saying this has got right. It's really important. This I know a lot of people are talking about it. I have never said this will have an HDMI output ever. Really important. I've never said that. What I've said is we're going to look and see if we can do something. So, if you come in, you want to go through that kind of thing. You're not going to get some kind of. It's not a capture device. Okay, they're £200-300, and you expect me to throw it in. So that's not really going to happen. But if we can do something like that, we will. Any thoughts on an OSSC or OSC2 pod? My very first one had that pod. The only reason I took it out was I got fed up with it. I'll be honest. GBS was better. For the Amiga fan, I was using GBS and GBS control. It was light years better than the OSSC because, the quality was better on OSSC, don't get me wrong. But it was not enough to worry about. But things like when I had the ACA 500 Plus and it had an immediate screen at the beginning, it wouldn't display it. It was pathetic. So I've debated. Here's mine. Yeah. I don't use it. It's in a box. But yes, I've already had a pod for it. I had a hardware one made ages ago, and I'm happy to make one. And to have the little, if you want to, because I talked to the people who made them actually, and they were going to make one with the display on the lead and to have the infrared on the lead, so you can put it on the front. But that's there for people to make their own adapters. How are we getting on it? What we go? Are you going to line the case with 22 karat gold for? I have other ways to capture my retro computer. It would be cool to have very clean. Yeah, I know, but I plan to run mine inside the engine of them. Any thoughts on it? I've answered that. No problem. Just brainstorming. Okay, right. I'm hoping for a retro Tink 5 pod. Why would you put a £300 device in here? That the 5X is designed for 4K. 5X means scale up 5 times, and so you wouldn't do it on here. I'm not saying I've got no problem making you one, but that's a £300 device. I don't see the point. I think you're probably better off with the one. But look, if people ask for it, want it, I don't mind. I'll make it and sell it to you. I just think that might be overkill personally. Nikki, will you sell more monitors after the Kickstarter ends for the people that didn't back the crowdfunding? Look, I don't know yet. There will be more left. The key thing is not the fact of will I sell any more at the end, because it's probably I'll over order the materials, which means I'll have spares. But it's will I make more? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's one of those things because you have to gear up, because it's in a Kickstarter. It's easy to sell this amount of numbers. Well, not easy, but you know what I mean. It's like you sell, bang, they're sold, but you make them, you ship them. Afterwards, you don't know what you're going to sell. So if I'm going to order a ton of these, I'd have to order at least 500 sets. And if they don't sell, I'm stuck with them. So it's a tricky one. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm saying I don't know yet. But what I am going to do is have a mailing list for people to join, so that when we get to the end of them, we can gauge what the interest is. And then if it's worth it, if it's like I've got 150. I can build 150 more, and there's a couple of hundred people. The first one's coming, great. If it's not any more than that, it's probably not worth it. But we'll see at the time. But I want to. My concern at the moment is satisfying the people who've backed the Kickstarter. Anyone else, they'll wait. They'll have to wait and see what happens. Make a second kick to get the numbers for another run. I suppose it's not. Wouldn't be unheard of, but look, it's another thing you have to bear in mind. I'm 62, right? So by the time I'm 62 in a week's time. So once I ship this, I'll be 63. Now I'm going to continue working, right? But these are hard work. So unless I can work something so we can just it's a case of I just turn on a tap and they get shipped to Amazon and they just go into the Amazon stream. I don't know if I want to be building these because I'm going to be putting these together on my own, you know, a night away from the family. So I don't mind doing it for this batch because it's doing a lot of good for my family. So it's a big deal, which I'm going to come to. I think you might be right. You got some booze ready for celebration? I'm not really going to be celebrating. I mean, well, I've got me. I'm not really. I've got COVID. Come on. I'm just. It went over and it was quite funny. It was the same day. It was within a couple of hours. So yeah, but why don't I feel? Why aren't I really pleased and excited and what have you? And I had a headache and I'd had the sweats and let me do a test and it came up COVID. Yeah, I know people keep saying I don't look 62, but I'm 62 on the 23rd. This is Botox. I have a house full of booze. I keep yeah. God. A cup of tea. I don't like tea. Can't stand the stuff. You need a hot toddy. I might go and have I've got some Jack Daniel's honey. Yeah, no, I'm not quite so bad. I feel a bit rough, but I've. You don't like tea? I'm regretting my entire video. Yeah, my dad's embarrassed. My dad's an old school because I used to be a roofer, and I'm technically a bricklayer, and my dad's a tea drinker, and of course I used to embarrass him because when we used to go into he used to work in the East End of London, so I used to go down there with all the lads, and I'd go into the cafe with them, and they'd all be having 16 cups of tea, love, and then she'd come out, "Don't you want a cup of tea, Steve?" I can't stand the stuff. Can I have a cup of coffee? Got some camp coffee out. No, not that rubbish. Yeah, so I'd never liked tea. Sorry about that. Good job I didn't mention that at the beginning, wasn't it? No, I've always been a coffee drinker. Probably explains that. Well, 6 minutes to go. Would have been a very different outcome if you had. Your plan is to keep the channel going, Steve, whilst we impatiently wait over the coming months. Yeah. Look, wouldn't be the channel. I mean, I've been doing these for years. Well, a few years. I'll be doing updates. I'm going to continue doing updates. Yeah, I mean, look, because I do these. In fact, I've been doing live streams every Monday night. Nearly every Monday night. I've been doing lots of them, so I'll continue doing them Monday nights. Yeah, look, I mean, look, just come along Mondays. My Monday night my Monday night streams. I probably tend to do two Monday night streams a month, and I'll continue doing them because it's there's going to be interesting stuff. So I'm quite happy doing this, but I try to keep a bit more focused. Thank you very much. When you announce the electric car, yeah. That's true, isn't it? I did say about that. I have kind of, yeah. There's a whole lot of stuff going on there, isn't there? Would it be enough for a tropical island? No. Maybe in Canvey Island. But I'm going to go into a little bit once this is ticked over, because I think we might have made it, right? But I'm gonna tell you why this is important. In 2023, how about a backers get together? We're all obviously, yeah, that's an awful lot of people. I mean, there's 1,390. I mean, it's there's a lot of people, which is it is surprising. In fact, twice the amount of people with my original my cases. Cool, it's flying up now. Look, do you think it'll get to the actual 359? Actually, I think it's 369 for the 17-inch. But as I said, don't worry about it. You're still going to get the 17-inch. How many pods will be available to buy on launch? I don't know. I mean, look, we got. Christ, there's the standard. There's the GPS. There'll be the Arcuda pod. There'll be the Pi pod, the Mr. pod. There'll be one probably for the S video and the RF together. In a single pod. What is the reason of the GPS 8200 versus 8220? Oh, 8220, I think it's got two USBs. We won't be using that one. Are you legally obliged not to name? It is ticking up though, isn't it? 2 minutes to go. If you don't get on board, you can't have one. Let me just refresh the page, because sometimes it just make sure. Yeah, that's okay. It's nearly done. Look at that. It's ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. You do realise, of course, your credit cards are going to get done soon. Everyone's gone, oh, well, hang on, how many did I order? Oh, for God's sake. I don't know actually if we can do a countdown on this, because oh, it's doing a countdown, look. Come on, come on, come on. I just refinanced my mortgage. I'm good to go. Excellent. No, I like my camera. I'm not going to count this down. Alfie can count down from 100. He's only 3. Oh, actually, no, he can count up to 100. Let's be clear. I can't remember. Is 359 or is it 369 for the 70s? But don't panic. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get your 17-inch panels. Personally, I think the 90s is way better. My missus will kill me when she knows I've backed another Kickstarter. I think there might be a few like that. 51 seconds to go. Hurry up. Oh, is it 359? Oh, it might actually make it. Oh, I don't think anyone's going to come in there. But look, don't panic. You're getting the 17. It's all good. $20. Look at that. Look. Oh, it's... I think they've run out of steam. 10 sec. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Does he do it? Oh, he does! Look at that! Anyone who's just joining, oh, I missed it. Alright, okay, well, I'll tell you what then. Thanks for all the congratulations, right? So, a few people to thank. I'm going to come to Peter. But okay, so there's people like, anyone who's backed him, I mean, it goes without saying, if you back the bloody thing, thank you, right? Seriously, thank you. Jan from Amikit, he actually did a massive mail shot for me. I've had Phil doing a lot of work for me. He's been... We haven't had much luck actually with the blogs and other YouTube channels. Thankfully, we had Peter. Anyone who shared the video, seriously, anyone who shared the video, that's or the Kickstarter, should I say? Sam, Sam's probably not on, but my daughter's boyfriend Sam, he did the video, and then there's Paul Kitchen, who did this video under here and did a lot of other graphics. He does all the 3D stuff for me. So thanks to both of them. Appy, of course. Appy's he's been really nice getting to know Appy. You know that I've said it before, but you know sometimes there are characters. Appy's definitely one of them. Yeah, he's basically allowed me to expand the horizons of this thing, which is absolutely fantastic. But I suppose, look, the truth is, this would have died on the Vine. I mean, we got to 128,000, and I think it would have probably done that, and I think it would have probably got to about 150, 160,000. But as you probably know, I actually, I'll tell you the story. I may be repeating the story, but I'm going to tell you the story anyway. And I told Peter this as well. He's actually got it on recording as well. I booked the OLL 2022 show. And the idea was obviously to show people, because I had another tuber that wasn't a big fan. Please, if you know who I'm talking about, don't be negative with him at all, because he was wonderful, right? It just wasn't for him. So, but I wanted to. I was going to quit there and then, but I decided no, I'll go to the show, and and the enthusiasm from everyone was amazing. But one of the other reasons, and the other main reason for going, I literally wanted to meet Nostalgia Nerd, because it's one of those channels. I think it was the right kind of audience, and he has the right kind of, and he did those 2 Amiga videos for one thing, but the funny thing was, and Fassi will probably tell you this, and Peter will tell you this, is that I'm very shy, right? And no one believes me, right? I am actually really shy. So I wanted to go see him. But every time I walked over to see, because Peter had his own stand, and every time I walked over there was maybe one person talking to him, and I'll come back later. I chickened out loads of times, and I just, for some reason, if you come to me at my stand, you won't be able to shut me up. Right? If I come to your stand, you'll probably, you'll have to encourage me to talk, right? That's just the way I am. Anyway, thankfully, someone said, go and look at the monitors. So Peter came along, and you've probably seen the pictures he put on Twitter. And so, of course, then there was that big gap while we were doing all the electronics and experimenting, getting all these bits and pieces working. So then I saw him about 3 weeks ago, and because he said he would do a video. I went over there. We arranged to go over. He said it'd be 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks, and as you can see, it was 128,000, and we went up 357,458. Yeah, it was about 128,000, and it just went as soon as that went live, that video. So this would not have existed. I mean, Jan's was actually quite good because he did about 8,000 people. But this video of Peter Leigh, Nostalgia Nerds video, Christ, if it hadn't been for that, it'd been a different story, totally different story. Now, let me give you a bit of a back. Why is it so important? So you probably know I've had 2 Kickstarters before, but they were set up as hobbies. It was just purely a hobby, nothing more. I just did them for fun. So I had my day programming job, and you know, I just thought it'd be nice to make cases, and I used the money to buy a motorbike, take my family on holiday. I mean, I could afford to rent like a nice house, like on the Isle of Wight. We rented a 6-bedroom house or something, and all my kids and everyone, they with their partners turned up, and we all had that for a week. And we've been able to afford to do things like that, which has been absolutely fantastic. But I decided, because the company I worked for 15 years, Web Labs, who I'm still friendly with, the main director, who I love to bits, he retired, and I just, the direction the company's going in wasn't for me, and I thought, well, my cases are ticking over, they're making enough to pay the bills. I'll gamble, I'll leave Web Labs, and I'll take a chance on it, because the figures from the last year were fine, so it's enough to tick over, and so I could pay my bills. But to go forward, you can't just tick over and pay my more. You have to. There's a lot more expense. So the monitor was going to be death knell of the whole thing. If it failed, I was going to revert back to shut down the office. I was going to put it back and drop the Mini, literally just do the Plus cases because I enjoy selling them, and that was going to become a hobby and go back and get another job. This has meant I haven't got to. It means I can continue doing what I love, which is being at home with my wife and little Alfie. So I'm a working from home dad again still, which I have been for 15 years. And so it's allowed me to do that. And it's also given me the security now. I know for the next 2 years I'm completely stable. I haven't got to worry. And I can concentrate and make this monitor as good as it can be. Now the fact that we've got that figure is allowing me. I've been saying to Appy, we've got to wait and see what the final figure is. And please, again, don't put anything in there, Appy. But I now know the figure. I know the things I can do this monitor. So whatever you think of the monitor in its existing form, trust me, as always, I'm going to over deliver. And I am thinking of course, the future. So people have been asking about, the Amazons and stores. Probably going to be something like Amazon because it's easier for me because I can just drop them down the road, drive a van load, drop them and they just ship it around the place. So hopefully that will happen. But I'm going to concentrate on, because I think there's probably about 1,600 monitors, which means I'll make 2,000 sets of cases, which of course God knows where I'm going to put them. So that's a fantastic thing. So that's I would never have been able to do that, and it does mean that because of this amount, it does mean that I can really open up what we can do, so hopefully, you're gonna stay with us, because as I said, I'll probably do a stream every other Monday. I don't tend to do them every Monday; it's too much. But every other Monday, and we'll go because I'll probably do one in in the new year, and you can see the designs. I've actually already done the designs for the next prototype, but I'm scrapping some of it because of this figure. It means I'm going to do something else, which means I'm changing some of the design, and then we can discuss that. And it wouldn't have happened. And I suppose the biggest. Hang on a sec. The biggest thing is that I can stay at home and carry on with my wife at home, with my Alfie, and he grows up with dad at home, mum and dad at home, you know, because he's already interested in all this. I haven't got to go out and get another job. Haven't got to send the wife to work, you know, because she helps me with this stuff. So it's a proper little family business, and it means that we can grow from this now. And yes, I do want to do new things. People know that there's a handful of people that know I've actually got a pet thing I want to do, but I will only do that if I can get a certain rights to a brand. But you know, this is not the final product. I mean, everyone knows I'm an Amiga fan, right? Everyone knows that. But this just makes life a lot easier and more secure, and I can do these monitors, and trust me, these monitors are going to be wonderful. I mean, I love my prototypes, actually, to be fair. I think they're fantastic, but the next prototype is going to be absolutely amazing, because instead of it being a solid button, it will work, and I'll have everything inside, have all the new designs, and it's really going to be something special. So and it might not, I'm hoping it won't take us that long to get these on the market, but I think the biggest challenge is going to be literally the shipping to like America and Australia, because that's America. A lot will probably. I haven't seen. I don't know the figures, but usually the Americans buy a lot. So I may drop ship, and I know there's going to be quite a lot Australia. So we may do a drop ship to Australia and then distribute from there. To try, because we've got to try and get the cost down, because shipping to Australia, Christ, it's really expensive. So I'm going to try and do something there. On the European one, my German distributor said he'll help me with that and handle all the VAT. So we've got to discuss that, but I've got a few months to deal with that. But yeah, look, all I can say is thanks very much. Trust me, I'm going to make a monitor to please me, right? I'm hoping it will please you, but trust me, I'm fussier than you are. Yeah, right. Let's see if there's any more questions. Uh, 1,400 backers now. Awesome, congrats. Lang 7, will the 100 tier choice of colour? Everyone can change their colour. Everyone. It doesn't matter, because when it comes in, all you do is you switch colour if you want to switch, but you have to do it in the window. Okay, there's a window, it's April, May, because once that window's shut, you can't change your colour. Period. All right, there will be no changing, because I'll be ordering. Yeah, the order will go off and they'll make them. So you can't change after that window. But up until that point, you can change. This Kickstarter directed me to you, YouTube, and didn't do it. Praise and stuff. Typical. No Polestar. Amazing Neo Geo. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought I'd put that up because to be honest, I've never actually played it. I did a search because I'm always putting up Metal Gear Solid, and then I said, well, that is good. I'll put that up. To be it was Lucas Remus mouse update that finally got me. Oh, okay, well that's interesting. Yeah, because Lucas did. Yeah, he did, didn't he? He did do a post. So a couple of people moaned about him doing it, which is a bit of a shame. He's going to be busy putting those things together. Oh, you're lovely. Thank you, Nav Cattell. I assume that's how you say it. Oh, look, this is going to be full time. That's the whole point with this now. I have no stress now for a couple of years. You know, all my bills are paid. My mortgage is nearly gone anyway. And then I don't need much money. So, I'm, you know, once the mortgage is gone, I'm laughing. And I can just do, because, you know, I can carry on doing this until they take me out in a box. Probably one of my boxes. Have a manly hug, yeah, probably. Yeah, I know, I did, didn't I? I'm putting on your correspondent. Oh, God, I hate this. I'm just trying to go through these. Bear with me, so I'm looking for the... I might as well turn this onto there, shall we? So you can see a bit more of that game behind. Also, with the extra power, fit the Arcuda 20.1. No, because the 20.1 sits on the outside of the case. Cost me £100. Send 4 bags to USA. I know. It's a fact we deserve to succeed, and you've done it with a low community. Just please look it out. Yeah, I can't thank Peter enough. I know I've said it already, but this would not have happened. And as I said to him, it's secured my family's future. Can you still recommend affiliate links to some filament? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think any... Well, usually what you do is you just... What I do is I 3D print them and then just get some oyster white paint and spray them. It's easier to do that. Oh, for God's sake. When the final pod design files are ready, I'll be more than happy to make one to fit her. Yeah, I'll release the pods anytime. Oh, can we see it? 510 backers from the USA. 300 from the UK. 97. Wow, okay. That's interesting. So you can have any colour as long as it's black or oyster white. Yeah. I don't have the money this time. Do you think it's going to possibly buy us in the future? I hope so. I mean, look, as I said, I will overmake. So if you really want one, keep your eye on this site, on this Kickstarter, because I will post. And anyone who couldn't do it will be able. There'll be an email. You can send me an email, and I'll add you to a list. And then when it's time, which will probably be end of the next year, you'll get an option to order one, like in maybe December next year. And if there's only a few of them, first come first served. If I'm going forward, I'm going to make a lot. Then so for example, if I got 1,000 people waiting, then I'll just make 1,500 more. You'll check out in Checkmate. You'll check out in Checkmate. Yeah. What's the one system you want to get your paws on to test with this monitor? Oh, X1000 probably. Only because technically, because it's mainly because of the technical aspect of it, because it's got it does a lot of different frequencies, different resolutions, and it is quite amazing. Maybe an SGI. Oh, I wish it stopped doing it. I found this point just recently. Is this going to be an open hardware with schematics available? Okay, so schematics no, because I use a generic Chinese controller. You're not getting schematics for that. It's not an open source project. Having said that, happy to let people know where I bought it. Yeah, so if I drop dead, you can go and buy the new parts. No problem with that. You won't be able to get the schematics or anything. As for releasing hours, I'll talk to Appy, but the reality is you know, there's some custom firmware we don't want released because it will just get ripped off and used for like the CGA and EGA and any of the other stuff. So that's unlikely because we after all we're trying to make money. And but the actual design, the idea of releasing the designs of the cases is so that you can make things to fit it. Yeah, that's the reason for doing that. Wow, okay, so the money's been charged already. Pledge collected. When will the CC... At least they're just saying the money's coming out of their accounts now. Wow. Kickstarter just reserved. Any plans on making a larger version? Do they make 5.4 panels in? Okay, so no, because I'll tell you why I chose 19. I used to have a 21-inch monitor, but the display area, the displayable area was about 19 and a bit. So a 19-inch panel's the same. So I didn't see the point in going bigger. And also it looks stupid sitting on a monitor, on a computer. So I thought 19 was a good size, and 17 if you want the fat bezels. What if I want to add an extra monitor to my initial Kickstarter pledge? Do that in April, May. Do you know the number of backers from Portugal? I haven't looked, so I don't know. It probably wasn't. I did get quite a few from Portugal. Whatever an X1000 is. Is it an X1000? The Sharp X1000? I think it's a Sharp X1000. Blimey, that's jumped up a lot. Charged backer number. Go. You're in the 700s. Yeah, it's a lot. Just been charged. Let's go. Just got that. I don't see Portugal. See, I'm not looking at the list, so I don't know. Pledge collected. I pity the fool that thinks they can get their hands on my firmware. Yeah, look, I've no intention of releasing firmware. I used to have a Sony 21 too, and this is going to be perfect for what I remember. Yeah, because it's the 21 inches. Even the Sony's, I think they were 19.5-inch display area. If you actually put a tape on it. X68000. I do apologise. Sorry, it's the X68000. Of course it is. Could the guts be used as an arcade table kit? I don't know why you'd want to. I mean, you could just buy a panel. You don't need it. You buy a panel. Just, you know, you can see the back is geography breakdown. Okay, I'll have a look at it later. I thought you were talking about the... Yeah, my apologies. I got the muddle up. Yeah. Added a third monitor. How did you do a third monitor? Oh yeah, because I have a thing for 3, don't I? Charged back at 70. 90 is perfect for computers. I was thinking more of a large version of retro console gaming as a TV. Yeah, look. I don't mean, look, if it's a success, I mean, to me, a success if I sell 5,000. I mean, but we've already sold 1,500. I'm guessing about 15. Probably more than that. It's probably more than 1,500. Are they going to be these sold after the Kickstarter, or do you have to pledge the Kickstarter to get one? Well, you're too late now. But as I said, I keep saying this. But I know people are coming in late. So I will over-order. Whatever it is, I'll over-order. But then there'll probably be, say, 200 or 300 extras. But I will, during the next year, have a mailing list that if you missed out on the Kickstarter but you want to be on the waiting list, you just email me, I'll drop you in there. And like I did with this, I'll email you probably next December to say, okay, there's some left over now and we've shipped the rest. Do you want to order? And it's first come, first served. If there are a lot of people on that list, then I'll make another batch. And then of course, it's a business. Looking forward to this. If anyone manages to build a module that supports multi-sync. Look, if I can get hold of an X68000 and get it to API, but not now. Seriously, not now. Because, you know, I have to focus my mind and Appy's mind on specific development work. We can't mess around with everything we said was support is ready to be put into a product. We can't do anything else for a while, but we will. Okay, I want to support this thing going forward because this is what I enjoy doing, and it's an excuse for me to go out and buy a silicon graphics machine if I've got a board that then accepts a signal on here, and maybe we'll make a blue one. No, I'll spray it. Look, you'll have to ask the Arcuda people about that. Right. Okay. 357,000. That's pretty cool. So let's have a look at the final. Here you go. £357,558. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad for an evening's work. I wish it had been. Okay, Kenneth. Yeah, look. You need to wait for the details. It's very important you don't jump to any conclusions, because I need to talk to the Arcuda people, because it's all been a bit abstract, you know. In concept, yes, we'll back you, right? We'll do it for you, but the reality is now we have to actually do it. So I need to understand their boards and see what we can work. So I leave us alone for a while, and then we'll come back with the answers. Yeah, I like the idea of an SGI colour scheme, but now Dave was saying about doing a special one for Peter. I don't know if he's still around. I don't know if he might not be interested, but I thought it was a fantastic idea of I forgot what it's called now. It's a special. You drop the parts in it and it comes out printed, which looked amazing. Maybe as a gift for Peter. So if you're there, are you there, Peter? Do you fancy that? eBay's going to love this as more people might go out and buy more retro kit. I don't know, I hope so. It's quite a lot though. It's a lot of monitors. Any chance of extra audio in with mixing? That way a MIDI module. Look, a lot of people have been asking for audio stuff. So again, bear with us. Remember that I know you only got 3 pods, but you can take them out and put them in. Hydro dipping. Yeah, I mean, that does sound really nice. In the future, regarding specific panels, if you don't have a device for testing, then people could send own device to you. Okay, right, let me cover that. Bora. No, you're not sending me a panel for testing. No chance. What you do is, you send me the specification, full specification document for the panel, and then I send it off, and then they tell me if they can do the firmware, and then we send you the firmware. Right? You don't send me the panel. It doesn't work like that. But I'm more than happy to support people if they want to put their own panels in. It's not worth it for one. It's literally, trust me, it's not worth it for one panel. But if you've got a whole load of them, I've got 5 LG panels upstairs, IPS ones. They're really nice. I personally would have built them into it. So a few of them, yeah, makes sense. Oh, Argentina won. Great. It's not X38,000. I think it's X68,000. Okay, guys. Look, I'm going to call it a day now. Where you all gone? Oh, camera's gone. Don't worry, I'll be back. When can I order a second monitor? You'll have to wait until April, May. Alright, and there'll be probably a box that says, you know, and I'll sort that out later if you want another monitor, because again I'll be telling them how many to make, because it's already a lot, because I thought I was only going to need 1,000 and it's now 1,500, so this is like this is a lot. So this is a lot of monitors. Alright, okay, so look, you got in his back at 1402. Oh no, it's for your 1402, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to go now. And thanks for for joining in. Thanks again to Peter. Again, mate forever now. And we will come down. Well, either we'll come to you, or you can come to us, and you can meet Alfie. He said happy then. But you can meet the wife and Alfie. Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks very much, guys. And it's been a really good, lots of viewers, 159 viewers, which probably, bearing in mind, there's like 1,400 backers. Where are the rest of them? All right, okay, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks. Yeah, I'll get better soon, don't worry. Yeah, all right. It's nice to speak to you. Thanks so much, and I'll go before I get emotional. See you later, guys.